welcome to another episode of Speak Geek, and hopefully this week we will not hear Josh taking a 20-minute piss. It wasn't a piss, guys. It was, turns out it was his washing machine going off in the background. But Josh, when I was listening to it, after I had already published it, by the way, I was like, man, what is that?
That's what happens. You know, I didn't want it to be known, but I do have a very big urethra, so I actually was just peeing uncontrollably for 27 minutes. No, man, I record inside the garage, so I thought I had everything shut down on my washing machine, decided that it was going to spin out some old clothes, so apologies, but hey, guys, this is what you subscribe and sign up for these little quirky things that happen, because we're not professional. We're not, and that's okay. We're getting there.
So, this week Josh has assured me that the washing machine is not going, so no more 27-minute pisses, and we're good to go. Now, let's get into this, man. There's been a lot of movie and entertainment news this week, and seemingly out of nowhere. For example, this first piece of news, actually the next two pieces of news, apparently what we all thought he was done with the role of Batman, but apparently Affleck has signed on for more Batman.
Yep. And this to me, also, more Batman movies and an HBO Max series.
Yeah, exactly. So across a couple of different forms of media, it's I honestly news I was absolutely not expecting to hear from. I thought he was donezo in terms of Batman. So, what do you think is let's take some guesses here. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be a series? Do you think he's going to make cameos? Well, what do you think is what's up?
This is where it's going to be confusing because now we have a Robert Pattinson Batman movie that's already going, that's already getting played. That is the Batman. Now this is a different type of Batman where he's younger. He's the world's greatest detective. So my question is, are they going to keep the Robert Pattinson Batmans and keep him onto the side, and then Ben Affleck is going to play the older, grown-up version? You know, kind of like, here how he is when he started in year 2, and then here's how he is now when he's older. Which would be the only...
I think it's going to be two completely separate Batmen. I think, they're leaning so hard into the multiverse concept. Absolutely. I think it's just going to be two different Batman existing.
Absolutely, and that's where I think it's going to go, is two different Batman, two different universes existing. I personally am not a fan of that. I think that's a stupid idea to have two Batmans existing in the exact same time like this, unless you're going to have them have some kind of interaction or build an overarching story. That's just me, at least, because I'm not going to devote a ton of my time into a Batman TV series starring Ben Affleck, and then next year or the year later I'm going to go see the Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson, because now I'm stuck in this awkward position, I guess, for me at least. That's how I look at that. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm okay with Affleck showing up in more films and stuff like that, because I guess the Snyder universe in terms of the DC films wasn't really resolved, so it's kind of open-ended. Well, so if he's coming back in more movies, that's fine. I'm a little weirded out about having a Batfleck HBO Max series. I'm not really sure what's going on there. According to this article, it's reported that, there's not a ton of details about the HBO series right now, but they report, and I quote, that a big focus being looked at for the series is a backstory for Robin, his death by the hands of Joker, whose own contract should be announced soon, and how losing the boy wonder made Batman into the jaded individual we see in Batman vs. Superman. So,
see, and I'm good. I'm good with that, and it also depends on who they're going to bring in to write and direct this. I think that Affleck, in my opinion, Affleck's Bruce Wayne was one of the best versions we've ever had of Bruce Wayne. Ben Affleck looked the part of a grizzled superhero who's trying to be that playboy. Yeah. When they had him working out, Christian Bale was a great fucking Batman for what he was. I think Affleck got the short end of the stick. I wish we could have seen more of him, especially after what he did in Batman v Superman, the way he was in Justice League. Affleck is a dope actor. Aside from Daredevil and stuff like that, but when he gets into something like The Town, like Argo,
exactly.
Like Good Will Hunting,
director too.
Right? Like he is a phenomenal actor, and I think that DC really fucked up with Affleck, and And honestly, if they
fucked up with the whole DCEU.
They did so bad, and they tried to recover it with Wonder Woman, which was great. Aquaman, which was good for what it was. Aquaman was just a big fun movie for me. That's what it was. It wasn't great. It was what it was. DC is screwed up. So I think that when they brought in Affleck, Snyder seemed like he knew what he was doing with Batman, Man of Steel, and built these overarching stories kind of like DC. I think, again, that HBO is shooting themselves in the foot by doing this right now. Only because there's a lot of money and excitement invested in Robert Pattinson as the Batman. Colin Farrell, Selena Kyle, we're getting this story that a lot of Batman fans have wanted for a long time. Which is cool. This younger Batman. We kind of got it with Christian Bale, but this is going to be a dope story. Why is he the world's greatest detective? So I think that if they do a slow burn process like this, they go back into a lot of the points that have been set up. Like here's, I'm looking at the picture right now, and they got the Robin suit that's all sprayed up with Joker and everything else. So I think that's a good storyline to do. You could bring that in and be awesome. And if they do it right, they're bringing in Jared Leto again. They got Ben Affleck coming in. They're looking at a multiverse. Let's do it, and let's do it right. HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, all of these things appear to me to be where the future's going. I know that theaters are still opening up and they're going to have big blockbusters, but I feel like a lot more of these companies are investing their money into their streaming services. So
yeah, absolutely. There used to be a day where TV and movies, in terms of budgetary, concerns, and in terms of quality, there was a huge difference between the two.
Oh, 100%.
But that line is getting really, really blurred right now. I mean, you have TV series like the Mandalorian and all these upcoming Marvel Disney Plus shows that absolutely equal the budget of any AAA blockbuster movie.
Right. And you've also shown, too, with shows like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or even Lost in the early years, that you can build this overarching story over multiple years and drag it out and have people invested in it for a long period of time.
Yep.
So, again, if HBO Max invests the proper money and they decide they're going to do little 45-minute episodes and make a legit 45-minute movie, kind of like Game of Thrones started doing towards the end, or like The Walking Dead kind of did, and make each season these arcing stories and do them, 5 or 6, maybe 8. Give yours maybe 10 episodes. I think 8 is that sweet spot, especially for HBO. 8 to 10, because you look at Watchmen, phenomenal. Lovecraft's Country, which is great. Westworld, all these shows that have these, 8 to 10 story arcs. You can do that with a Batman story because Batman is a weekly comic. That's how it started. So you can develop these stories, do a slow burn, build up a Joker over time. And that's what we didn't see in these movies. They're just like, oh, by the way, here's Jared Leto as a crazy Joker covered in tattoos, and he's whoring out Harley Quinn. And, there was so much that was left there that I think if they do it right, this could be what we've been wanting to see with the Batman Joker story.
Yeah, and that actually goes into our next thing with Jared Leto returning as Joker in the Snyder Cut. Now, that comes as a surprise to me because there was never any mention of Joker having any part in Snyder's Justice League. But do you think they'll be using Jared Leto as the Joker in the Batman series?
I think that they absolutely need to use Jared Leto as a Joker in this series. Jared Leto,
it's already been confirmed that him and Batman have gone head to head at numerous points. Batman even appeared, Batfleck even appeared in Suicide Squad. So absolutely, that's the Joker.
Yes, and there is a history that was never ever established between the two of them.
Yes.
And you only, of course we have it and we know the history, but in the Snyderverse there wasn't. And you show that car scene in Suicide Squad and the way he treated Harley Quinn and everything else. There's so much there, and I am probably one of a handful of people who thought what Jared Leto did as a Joker was fucking awesome. I don't care.
I liked him
he's
too,
the hot topic Joker with all the tattoos and blah blah blah. No, he fit the part of the Joker, and what I like about this,
he's the modern day Joker.
Yes,
he's the Joker in the Facebook era.
Yes, and he also, to me, what Jared Leto did is I took Jared Leto's interpretation not as he is the Joker, but this is his version of a Joker that's been around, if that makes sense. Like, like if you look at Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie in the old school, Joker doesn't have to be a person, just like Batman. Joker is a symbol. So when I looked at him, at Jared Leto, as the Joker in the Snyder films, to me that wasn't the Joker. He was just that Joker. You know, he's carrying on the legacy. He's another pawn in a ruthless gang, a number two who's worked his way up. That's why he's got the tattoos and all that kind of shit. You know, that's just kind of how I looked at him, and he played that part in that universe perfect. And I wish we could have seen more.
That's a good theory for sure.
I mean, and that's just,
and they've established that in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the concept of a symbol.
right. And I think that right there, just these small changes that we've seen are what's going to set this forward. I would love to see more of Affleck and Leto going head to head as Batman and Joker. Leto had a good laugh. He played it creepily. He played it, you know, a very, 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 the way that if you were to be taken over by a drug lord today, that's how I picture it being.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the rappers that people look at. I mean, look at Post Malone. I fucking love Post Malone. Dude's got more tattoos on his face than anything else, and nobody cares. And when Jared Leto was doing it as a Joker, people were like, oh, that's so stupid. Who the fuck does that? I don't know. Every single rapper that's been out in the past 4 years has tried to intimidate Jared Leto from the Joker. Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. So okay. So
I'm excited, man. I really hope that they elaborate more. I think that with you, I didn't know anything that the Joker was supposed to be in Justice League. No signs of it whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I really hope is that they kind of tease this lore that was already established between the Joker and Batman and Gotham and Harley and all that. And you know, you have all the people from Suicide Squad like Deadshot and Killer Croc, all these Batman villains. So there's definitely a universe that already existed by the time these movies came out. And I'm really excited for them to explore that universe that was just, for the most part, just teased.
Well, now we do know that James Gunn is doing his own version of Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah.
So it's very weird because DC seems to be continuously just rewriting and redoing the stuff they've already done.
Yeah.
So again, is this going to be a jumping point for them to say, look, this, because, you know, again, they're doing the Snyder Cut. They're bringing back these people. They're filming new scenes, which means that this movie is going to completely be changed from what we see now. The story's going to be different.
Oh, for sure.
Outcome's going to be different. This is going to lead to something more. Because when this first came out, I mean,
it's a 4-hour cut.
Dude, right. And I was under the impression that most of this stuff was already done and Snyder was just going to recut it and put it out. Not that he had to do 30 to 50.
That's what I thought, too.
Right. So he's doing $30 to $50 million worth of reshoots and re-edits, and he's bringing in Leto, and he's bringing in Affleck, and he's bringing in all these people. I'm just thinking that HBO Max is hedging their bets that when this Justice League comes out, this right here is going to launch their next, where they're going with HBO. I think that they're going to try to put all in on DC. I think they're hoping, and again, to bring in Jared Leto into the Zack Snyder cut, to build up something between him and Ben Affleck, to lead to the Joker Affleck story over a 10-arc, 6-week, however long on HBO Max. You build out this story, you introduce the Jason Todd, and you do that kind of like a Star Wars Rogue One. You go back and you tell the story.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm a little wary about the Batman series because they're already doing a Gotham PD series. I just think they're... I don't mind the concept of the multiverse, so I don't mind multiple versions of the same character, but at some point it's too much.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
so yeah.
I'm worried of the oversaturation that we had with Star Wars is where we're going to get. I mean, if you think about it, in the next 3 years, we're going to have quite possibly 1, 2, maybe even 3, depending on if he shows up on Gotham City PD. We're going to have 3 different versions of a Batman, of a different actor.
Yeah.
We're going to have 2 to 3 different versions of a Penguin, of a Joker. We're going to have all these different versions that are floating around, and I'm hoping that they can kind of pull it together. And I think something that's kind of funny too is to kind of go off what you were saying. Like, we know that all these people are coming back to film these new scenes, but like Henry Cavill, who's Superman, is not coming back to film any scenes. So my question is,
so they say.
Right, so they say. So, and we've seen Superman in the black suit and stuff like that. So when you pick up the pieces and you try to put things together, it seems like HBO Max figured, we're going to try to build this series with Ben Affleck. You need to figure out a way to start it. We're giving you a 4-hour cut. You better start off our next TV series for us so we at least have a year of Batman stuff we can play with. So Zack Snyder's like, cool, y'all give me 30 to 50 million. I'll bring an Oscar winner Leto. I'll bring in an Oscar winner Ben Affleck. And I'll give you guys an Oscar winning Joker Batman, and let's just make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Like, I can't For me, comic book TV shows, I can't get into. I hated fucking Gotham.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. See, I'm the complete opposite.
You love the Flash and stuff, and I think that DC has proven time and time again that their stories are perfect for television. Long, arcing stories over however many weeks. Marvel is the grand, go sit in a theater, watch this big, bright epic. And Marvel makes terrible TV shows, and that's just how I've always looked at it. Because I didn't care about Agents of the S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agent Carter or any of that shit. Because I don't care. I want my Hulk and my Thor, my Iron Man and stuff. And DC gives you that on their streaming service, which is awesome. So I'm just hoping that DC realizes with Jeff Johns what they've been able to do on TV. Take it to HBO Max. Give us that PG-13 hard R show that we want. Give us a dark, gritty Joker Batman and see what happens. What do you got to lose?
And give it to us in fucking 4K. Come on, dude. Oh. We're going on a year of HBO Max. Well, not a year, but like 6 or 7 months of HBO Max now. How do we not have 4K yet?
It's really upsetting, and I'm hoping that 4K launches with Justice League.
The Snyder Cut, yeah. I really hope so. I mean, because I've been going through and adding new movies and stuff, and they've been adding shit like The Matrix, and they have the Chris Pine Star Treks and stuff like that. Those movies are ripe for 4K. You need those in 4K.
I will take back what I said on our earlier podcast about HBO Max. I think that HBO Max is going to be a streaming service. Their sound quality is better. Their selection's awesome. Their TV shows are great. I am a fan of HBO Max. I just wish, like you said, they had the 4K because so much is on there. Like I was watching, they had the Blade trilogy, the Matrix trilogies. All these movies would look beautiful in 4K. And what you were saying about Star Trek, the other day iTunes was doing a sale, so I got all 10 Star Trek movies for $14.99.
Nice. Wait, really?
Yeah, I got everything from the original Star Trek all the way up to Nemesis. All 10 movies for $14.99.
See, I can't bring myself to do that because I have the original and all the next gen movies in DVD or Blu-ray box sets.
Oh, see, yeah,
like really nice Blu-ray box sets. So I can't bring myself to rebuy them. The only problem with that is, and here's another first world problem: they're all on disc.
Yep.
And I'm used to watching everything digitally now.
I'm the same way. I'm like, oh man, do I really want to get up and put in this disc of The Evil Dead? And I'm like, I'll just spend $5 and buy it on iTunes again.
I watched, before I watched Borat 2 yesterday, which, by the way, I highly recommend.
Oh, absolutely.
Before I watched that yesterday, I watched Star Trek 4. You remember the one where they go back to 1986 to get the whales? I watched that and I felt like a fucking kid.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I was going through it.
And it's amazing how horrible of an actor William Shatner is, but he's so likable. He is
so terrible. William Shatner's terrible, but you're right.
Yeah.
He is likable. So, dude, I was going back. I had on just Star Trek 1, the motion picture, and just the part where, he's going and he's seeing the Enterprise for the first time, and he's rolling through on the pod, and I'm just like, man, these graphics are so sick for what it is. And my oldest walks in and she goes, this is terrible. What are you watching? And then I was like, oh, it's Star Trek. And she looks at me, she goes, is this one of those really just crappy movies you like to watch? Because this looks terrible. And I'm like, oh, man, you rude ass. Get out of here. but like they're in HD and my TV upconverts them, to upconvert to 4K. But like seeing Star Trek the motion picture or Star Trek 2 or the Voyage or any of those, like it just, you're right, it is ripe for that 4K HDR, how beautiful it looks and be able to see the stars. And it's just, they're made for that stuff, man. It's cool.
Yeah. So speaking of visual effects, and we were talking about DC and everything like that, the next piece of news we have is the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, will be using the volume, which was that technology that we talked about a number of episodes ago that they used in The Mandalorian. Yes. Now, little refresher course, the volume is a big, giant, circular, how would you call it, like video screen and ceiling that they use to project images that, you can use a parallax effect so it maintains the depth as the characters move around and stuff. So it's different from green screen and blue screen. You're not just standing in front of a flat screen and then you add it later.
It's like half a dome, basically.
It's basically half a dome. Picture a sky dome in video games, and that's basically what you have. You have video screens surrounding you 360 degrees plus above you, and you can project a parallax video onto the screen and film in real time. So all those scenes you saw in The Mandalorian where he's out in the desert or whatever, those were all done inside on a soundstage inside the volume. And, when we did that episode, I think it was our 4th episode when we switched names to Speak Geek, to SpeakGeek.com. I think we talked about how we're like, okay, the Volume is technically a Disney property since, Lucasfilms developed it. Will we be seeing it used in other studios? Kind of like how THX and ILM, are used by a bunch of different movies. And here we are. We have a Warner Brothers property, The Batman, using the Volume to film the movie. What do you think of that? I mean, this is pretty exciting.
I think this is exciting. I love where we're going with technology. I'm just hoping that this kind of stuff doesn't become reliant on it. I know it's cheaper and it's easier, and you don't have to film scenes 62 times and switch out uniforms for blood spatter and all that kind.
It looks much more realistic.
And it does, and it's amazing. And we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we were with fucking Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, which looked like somewhat like a high school kid made it on a Mac. It's not good when you look at it now. I like this. I think this idea is dope. But I also do not want this to take away from the practical effects that people work so hard to use. And this is something I was explaining to my wife the other day. I love old school horror movies. The gorier, the better. Not because I like to see all that stuff, but because I appreciate Tom Savini, how he goes through and intricately makes this dummy that has to be ripped apart by zombies, and the visuals and the color. And the real, and like, dude, The Thing, as far as I'm concerned, there is no movie visually better than The Thing starring Kurt Russell. You can fight me. You can say whatever you want. The Thing is the greatest visual practical effects movie of all time. And the person who did it, that was his first job, and he was 26 years old. And that, to me, you will never, ever see that again. Like, that, to me, it was so good. And then you see movies like when J.J. Abrams did Star Wars Episode 9. Ton of visual effects. But he also took the time to do practical effects for the animals and the creatures. So, I think for doing these beautiful sceneries of Gotham City and being in certain areas, I think this is going to be great, and it's going to add a dynamic to the Batman movies that we haven't seen. Like, I think it's going to kind of...
Well, that's the thing about using the Volume and how it functions. The beauty of that is most of it still has to be done practically on set. Mm-hmm. You still have to build sets. You still have to build props. Yep. You still have to do all that stuff. So the Volume is not... It's not CG. It's a way to... I don't even know the best way to do it. It's a way to go on location without going on location, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, it's a way to give you... It's a way... You no longer just have a green screen with images in the back. You kind of have a 3D.
Yeah.
It's basic. It's like putting on the Oculus Quest. You're in the 3D world at that point. You're not just sitting there looking at a 3D world.
Good example.
I mean, there's...
Yeah.
And it's easier for actors to be able to interact in a 360 digital world as opposed to just, all right, I'm standing in front of the screen. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. It's much more immersive. It's got to be better for the actors to actually be immersed in an environment as opposed to standing in front of a green or blue screen and pretending.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just got to be.
Dude, it has to be. And again, I'm excited for this. I really think that technology and this kind of stuff is where we're going to go moving forward. And we're going to start to see movies that took 6, 7, 8 months to get made will be made in 2 to 4 months, 5 months, because...
And you know what's crazy about this? What's crazy about the Volume is it's not even new tech, if you really think about it. It's just a giant video screen. Mm-hmm. All that happened one day is Jon Favreau went, what if? Yeah. And he just made a giant video screen and was like, oh, this kind of works.
It's fucking all you need, man. Jon Favreau, I mean, dude, old boy Jon Favreau is a fucking genius. He's he's underrated as far as I'm concerned. Old boy gave us Swingers.
He really is, especially in the tech field.
Right, dude. Well, like, I mean, if you think about his directing and acting credits, I mean, he's done Swingers. He wrote the first fucking Iron Man. He played Happy Hogan. He's done so many movies.
Lion King.
As I say, then you look at his visual effects. Look at Lion King. Look at Jungle Book. I mean, dude is so ahead of the game visually that it's mind-blowing. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, dude, I think this is going to be great, but also, you can have all the tech in the world, but if you don't have a director who can visually direct it and see where it is, you're just going to have a bunch of shit on screen. So, Matt Reeves is a great director. I'm confident with anything in his hands.
And he knows his Batman.
Right. He knows his Batman, and I don't think that Matt Reeves would take this and make this all digital. I think it's going to help with the background, with the aspects, with a few things.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, man. I like to see that this technology is going to keep getting used, and I think that this, too, will also help and kind of carry over into a video game world and stuff like that. So I say the more the better.
Yeah, I see Matt Reeves doing a very Nolan-esque approach to his movies, which is a lot of practical. I mean, even within the Volume. I mean, remember that scene in The Dark Knight where the big rig flips over?
Practical.
It would have cost Nolan a lot less money and time just to do that with CG. Yeah. But he did it for real.
Yeah, and it makes that
He flipped
scene.
the fucking big rig.
Right, and he did the same thing in Inception with the train driving down the street. He's like, all right, man, put a train, let's go.
Or even the hallway. He built a fucking hallway and rotated.
Yeah, and had the actors going through it. Like, I mean, that right there, that is fucking movie making. That's the stuff that I love.
Yeah.
So I'm confident that he's gonna
Me too.
Yeah, that he'll do good with this. I mean, Reeves is a good director. He also knows that
really
Batman is a movie, and Batman is a property that's always should be grounded in reality. It's been campy. It's had a few other things over, but Batman is usually somebody who the Batman character is grounded in reality.
Tell that to Clooney.
Yeah. So like we try to keep it, and I think that that's what we're gonna see. I think that I'm excited, dude. I wish we get more. I'm hoping that DC doesn't step on their own foot with the Batman and then Ben Affleck and everything else. I mean, it's
yeah, they're kind of playing with fire right now, but I get it.
So we'll see, man. We'll see. Fingers crossed, man. We're gonna see a lot. Again, I'm worried about the oversaturation, but this next topic, I think, kind of gets us more into the oversaturation, but this is one that I'm totally fucking okay with.
Yeah, let's move on then. Let's pivot over to Marvel. So a couple of weeks ago, we got the news that, I believe we talked about this in the last episode, we got the news that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro in the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And then it was like, well, we have Jamie Foxx back, we have J.K. Simmons back as Jonah Jameson, and there were rumors floating around everywhere that Andrew Garfield and Toby Mcguire were coming back. But then Sony debunked that theory, which I still think is a bunch of bullshit. I think they're just trying to throw us off the trail.
Oh, yeah.
So now, according to We've Got This Covered, which, take that source as you will. According to the source, Sony is apparently rumored to be giving Mcguire and Andrew Garfield one more movie to basically... Because, both movies didn't finish their story arcs. They just kind of ended. There was supposed to be a Spider-Man 4, and there was supposed to be an Amazing Spider-Man 3, like a Sinister Six movie. So, yeah, this article says Sony is considering giving Mcguire and Garfield the keys to their own web-slinger movie, and this is according to insider, quote-unquote insider, Daniel Richtman. What do you think? Bullshit, or is there a little bit of a life behind this?
I think they're doing what they did when they announced Pattinson, is they're dropping this out there, they're going to say it's not true, and they're going to gauge fan reaction off of this, and then decide what to do going forward from there. Same thing like the music industry.
Fan reaction has been insane.
Yeah, so that's why, and they'll look at, so they'll put this out here now, and we'll talk about this for a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, it'll go away, and then come January, February next year, it'll get brought up again, and they'll gauge the reactions again. For me... I like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I thought he was fantastic. Spider-Man 2, I think, is one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. Doc Ock was fucking amazing.
One of the best comic book movies ever, period.
Ever. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Tobey Maguire played his part right. You had Kirsten Dunst. You had Sam Raimi. You had Albert Molina. It was just great casting, great.
Yep.
I personally did not like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. I felt like they didn't know who the fuck to make the movie to. It was directed toward 9-year-olds. It was trying to be towards adults. Andrew Garfield, I found, did not play his part very well. I could not take him seriously as a high school kid. He looked like he was 25. It just, to me...
The thing I didn't like about him is he was too cool to be Peter.
Yes. Yeah.
Even when he was supposed to be the nerdy Peter and Flash was beating him up and stuff like that, he was still way too cool with the skateboard and the kind of aloof emo attitude and everything. Okay, so here's how I can compare it. When I watch Toby as Peter in the first movie and he's being Peter and he does that stupid smile when MJ looks at him and I cringe when I see that, and that's how I'm supposed to feel when I see Peter being Peter.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
With Andrew Garfield, he was just too cool to be Peter.
He was, and I also look at these movies as something that, okay, where are we right now? Like, I don't remember much of anything about the first Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, except just being like, oh, look, there's Andrew Garfield, and we've already seen this again. And then I remember
the suit, though.
The suit was cool. I mean, but like to me, that's what Spider-Man became. Oh, how's the suit? They completely ruined it with Jamie Foxx and Electro. I just think it was what was the director? Peter Webb was the guy who did Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Mans.
Someone Webb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot who. Not Peter Webb. Andrew Webb?
Andrew
No.
Webb, that's who it was.
Was it Andrew Webb?
I think it was. I know the last name. I know the last name was Webb. Mark Webb. Mark Webb.
Mark Webb. There you go. There you go.
But so Mark Webb also did 500 Days of Summer, which I legit like with
that's a good movie. Yeah,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. That was a movie that made me like Zooey Deschanel. It's fantastic. Well, that and Elf. But dude, he just wasn't the right guy to do the Spider-Man movies. And if they told me, hey, we're gonna give Andrew Garfield the keys to a kingdom for a Spider-Man movie, I'm not gonna see it. I will have zero excitement in it. And that's just me personally with Andrew Garfield. I don't like him as an actor. I don't think he's very good for that part. He can probably do other stuff, but to me, he's just a generic white boy. If he'd have been born 5 years before, he would have been in the Twilight movies. Like, that's just kind of how
I like them for what they were, but if you were to say, hey, let's watch a Spider-Man movie, I would never say, okay, let's watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2. That would never be my first choice. Right. I like Andrew Garfield simply because I first saw him in an episode of Doctor Who. And he played like a 1920s American kid with the worst New York accent.
So it got better, I guess, over time.
I guess so, but it was very clear this was in like early Andrew Garfield. But so I have kind of a soft spot in my heart for him. But yeah, I know the Amazing Spider-Man movies went kind of off track because they were like, oh, look, everyone likes a dark and realistic Batman with the Nolan movies. We should do that for Spidey.
That's not Spider-Man.
And so I'm excited in the sense that we'll be getting, if this is true, I'm excited in the sense that we'll be getting a live action Spider-Verse. I mean, I think regardless of how you feel about the Garfield movies, it'll be cool to see multiple Spider-Man on the screen.
Yeah, but then too, like, I mean, and again, I love Toby Maguire. I thought he was great as Spider-Man, but is Toby Maguire who I want to see in a spider suit right now, unless we're going to get Toby Maguire as the funny Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse, the multiverse.
Yeah, Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, Peter B. Parker. Fought some things, broke up. You just see him with the gut because, no offense to Toby, but he's in his mid-40s now. Like, there's just no way it's going to work. There's a reason why it just won't.
He could get back in shape, though. I mean, that's what actors do.
I mean, he could, and I would love to see
Robert
him do
De Niro
it.
getting all fat to play,
Raging
what's
Bull.
his name from Raging Bull, And actors do that.
I mean, it could be done, and I would love to see it do because Tobey Maguire looked great. And again, so back to what we're talking about. So, like, for me, I can tell you the Spider-Man, the first one, you've got Willem Dafoe, you've got James Franco, you've got Molina, the second one is Doc Ock, you've got fucking Sandman and Venom, and who else was in the third one? Is that it? Venom,
Sandman, and the New Goblin.
Oh yeah, and the New Goblin. So like, I remember that, and then. I know who was the bad guy in the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one.
The first one was the Lizard, and the second one was Goblin, Rhino, and Electro.
Okay, see, and
technically Norman Osborn.
Yeah, see, I don't remember any of that shit. I remember that they were introducing the Lizard Man in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man because he was, his teacher with the one arm.
Because he was there,
and they never went off of it. I don't know, man. Like
that was supposed to be one of the villains in Spider-Man 4 before it got canceled.
Yeah. I think that Sam Raimi is a great director. I think if you're going to bring back Tobey Maguire, you need to bring back the whole set. Bring back Sam Raimi. He's the one who gave us Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 was out of his hands. The studio put way too much into that. Sam Raimi's came out countless times saying, dude, they wanted this and they wanted that, and they kept adding, and there's nothing I could do. Bring him back. Bring back Tobey Maguire. I mean, if you're going to do it, bring them all back into a Spider-Verse where they're all there together and then break them off on their small arcs. Don't try to be like, hey, look, we have this Spider-Man movie, now this Spider-Man TV show, and then this Spider-Man movie. I can't, man. There has to be other properties that they can do. And that's just, again, this is this oversaturation that we're getting into.
But that's why they're going back. They keep dipping into the Spider-Man well. It's because that's Marvel's Superman.
Yeah.
They don't currently have anything X-Men related, so they can't dip into that one. They have their established MCU, but the MCU is kind of at a crossroads right now with movies getting delayed and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So what do they have? They have to dip into their number one character, which is in its own legal bullshit right now with Sony and everything like that. I mean, I know they have a deal going on and everything seems to be cool right now, but that deal expires at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Marvel fucked up because they had a perfect platform with Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Iron Cage and Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Like, they had all this stuff, and they were good series. Those were the only... I love the first season of Daredevil. That's the one thing I think Marvel did right. I wasn't a fan of The Punisher or whatever, but that's just me. So, I mean... If Marvel really wanted to do this, then why not have that opportunity to do that. You know, I understand they got the Disney Plus and they're pushing all this stuff forward, but you've already had these established properties. Why not bring back Daredevil that everybody fucking liked for one more season, as opposed to dipping your toe into, oh, we're going to bring back Toby Mcguire, who was this dope-ass Spider-Man
They
in
may
2002.
very well. All those deals for the Netflix shows, I believe, have expired. I just read a thing the other day about how Luke Cage's Netflix deal has expired, so he can now come back to Marvel. But
Right, well, I mean,
Mike
put him on
Coulter
Disney
has
Plus.
said, I'm not doing Luke Cage anymore, so...
Well, exactly. And I thought they fucked up with Charlie Cox. It's just, you have these established characters, and I just don't know what they're trying to do. And I understand where Sony's at with what they're doing, but if I have to sit down, I'm like, yo, do you want to see Tom Holland in the MCU, or do you want to see Andrew Garfield as the Amazing Spider-Man? I'll see the Amazing Spider-Man 3 on Blu-ray when it comes out, man. I'm going to go see Tom Holland in theaters.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I mean, it's basically like the way I look at all three of these is you've got your Target version, you've got your Walmart version, you've got your Costco version. Which Spider-Man are you going to watch?
I love that. Yep.
I mean, that's just how
great.
I look at it. And you know what, man? Everybody, it's okay to love a movie. It's okay to love a character. It's okay to like whatever, man. You like your Costco jeans. I ain't mad at them. I don't care. That's just where we are right now. And I feel like it's too much, man. But I'm excited. I mean, I could be excited for it. As soon as I hear more about Toby Maguire or Andrew Garfield, we'll have more. But again, Andrew Garfield, not my cup of tea. I could give a shit less about him.
Hey, if they're going live action, why not go completely all out and go bring fucking Nicholas Hammond back from the 1970s TV show?
Why not?
Where it was very clear he was walking around on a rope on like a sideways building.
Oh my god, so good. I mean, that's
the disco soundtrack.
Oh, I love it.
And you know, there was a point in my life where that was the only live action Spider-Man I had. So I would go to like Blockbuster or the Warehouse and rent the Amazing Spider-Man pilot episode.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And watch this shitty show with a soundtrack that was like wow, 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 wow.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just like, oh my god.
My dad got me hooked on this show. Shout out, Dad, if you're ever listening to this. The Greatest American Hero.
Yes, I used to watch that when I was a kid.
First of all, the theme song to that is like this world. I didn't know that was oh my god, I can't think of the song, but whatever the song is to that show is like
Believe It or Not.
Yeah, Believe It or Not. Like I was like,
can't believe that came out so quickly, but yeah,
dude, right? Like that's good on your part. But that show is just over the top, cheap, campy shit TV, and that's what we were used to. Like I mean that, and then you look at the Amazing Spider-Man, which is funny, man. That you were saying that campy Spider-Man, and I was like, the Greatest American Hero. It's just funny.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
let's move on to
Let's do it. No.
Let's move on to some weird news. Now, if you handed me a list of 50 properties across all of media, it could be Star Wars, it could be Marvel, it could be DC, it could be fucking Alien versus Predator, it could be whatever. If you handed me a list of 50 properties and said, "Hey, guess what's coming back?" This wouldn't have even made the list.
No.
But apparently, Disney Plus is doing a sequel series for Willow. With, what's his name coming back? Warwick Davis coming back as Willow. Yeah. So, I didn't ask for it. I don't think a lot of people were asking for it, so what gives? What's going on?
Dude, I'm gonna... Excuse me. Okay. This is gonna be a... just a Josh shitting on everybody podcast today, I think, is where I'm getting at here. Okay,
that's cool.
So Willow is what it is. It's great. It's cool. Netflix tried to do this with
an 80s fun movie.
Right. Netflix tried to do this with the Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal was good when it was there. Don't try to bring it back. I love Disney. I love movies. I love comic. I will take as much as I can get. But again, where the fuck is the originality? Like, where are we with this? This is cool. Yeah, hey, we're going back to a property from 1988. Same fucking people who are trying to do a sequel to Labyrinth. Like, David Bowie's dead. Don't fucking touch it. Just leave it alone. And Willow is a movie that you can put on. It never needed a sequel. Enjoy. Right. You just don't. So what are you going to do? Are we going to watch some more adventures of Willow? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I just don't. And for Ron Howard to be coming back and stuff, yeah, that's cool. But why? You don't have anything else.
If he's even coming back,
he's
he's currently not attached to it, I don't think.
No, he's looking forward to it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's eager to return.
Ron
Howard, Ron Howard wants to come back, and again, I understand, especially now, people want something that's warm and comforting. It's soul food. It's something
nostalgic.
Right, something that they get this feeling of warmth and everything's going to be okay. And I just think that Disney Plus, there's a ton of other properties that they could do, that they could have better spin-offs to make it better. And Willow, it's cool, but I mean, who is this going to be for? Again, like, I mean, you didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. Willow has not popped up on my brain since I saw it, I don't know, when I was like 6 or 7. So for me, it's like, all right. Like, I was excited for the Dark Crystal, or when they brought back Fraggle Rock, or when they brought back the Muppets. And guess what? They all sucked. There's a reason they don't do it. Sorry.
So the big question with this Willow series, the question that everybody wants to know, and the question that I know is on your mind and my mind, is Mad Mardigan coming back? Because Val Kilmer is not Mad Mardigan anymore.
No
offense to Val Kilmer, but I mean, yeah.
Just I'm going to go off on a side here about Val Kilmer. I absolutely love Val Kilmer. I think that he is underrated as a comedy actor, because if you go back and you watch what's the first one? Hot Shots. If you go and you watch him and Real Genius, if you go and you watch Top Secret, Val Kilmer is this perfect. He was so perfect, and he got this dope ass edge when he did Top Gun. Like, that's where he became the Iceman, because he had the flat top blonde hair and the gum chewing and the cocky attitude, and then he
big
went
ass
on to
teeth.
Yes, and then he did Tombstone, and then he did Heat as the fucking wild card, and then he did The Saint. He is great.
Dude, The Saint is low-key one of my favorite movies from that era.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen The Saint in probably 5 or 6 years, but I'll never forget where he sees the girl, and he goes outside, and he breaks the bottle and cuts his forehead to look like he was jumped, and he's laying there, and it's just like, dude, Val Kilmer was so good, and I'll Be Your Huckleberry to this day is still one of and it's because of the way Val Kilmer delivered that line. And it's just sad what happened to Val Kilmer with the throat cancer and everything that he went through, all the weight that he lost. If you have not seen MacGruber, you need to watch MacGruber, because Val Kilmer...
I've seen MacGruber.
General Kuntz is oh my God, he is so fucking great at MacGruber, and... MacGruber is like a comfort for me. Like, I'm having a shit week. Let's watch MacGruber, man. Let's watch Ryan Phillippe shove a celery stalk up his ass, and let's go to town, man. Come on, man. I'll suck your dick. It's a great fucking movie. God damn it, I lost my fucking train. Oh, Val Kilmer. So I don't know if he could come back for this. Val Kilmer did come back for Top Gun 2. So, which I can't wait to see if that comes out. But
that's gone kind of radio silent too.
It has. Well, they brought back Tim Curry for when they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show live, and Tim Curry, is in a wheelchair, and he's had seizures and strokes, so he wasn't the same. So you could probably bring back Val Kilmer in some kind of voice role or something, maybe.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know.
I mean that Willow wouldn't be the same, I think, without Val Kilmer. Just like
without Matt Mardigan and what's her name? Who was the chick that?
Like I said, it's been years, but that's what you should do, and that would be like whatever that fucking, what's the other movie that's like this that stars Tom Cruise?
Legend.
Not Legend, yeah, like that would be like having like a Legend but no Tom Cruise. Like, why?
My God, that came out way too quickly. I haven't seen Legend since like 2nd grade.
Dude, me neither. It's been years, but I just remember. I remember seeing Willow and Legend and thinking they were the same fucking movie because the covers were the same. I mean, that's just how I look. I'm like, these are the same fucking movies.
Oh man.
To me,
there's your news. Disney Plus is doing a Willow sequel series. I guess we're getting it. I'm sure I'll watch it. I'm sure my kids will watch it with me. It is what it is. I'm not super duper, excited about it or anything. It's like you and I both said. It's Willow. It was what it was. It was a good movie, but certainly isn't on our radar. So good on Disney.
I just don't think it's something that's for the times now. I just don't think that you're going to be able to get those of us who were into this mystical fairy tale, this kind of stuff. We've all grown up and we've got into fucking Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and stuff. And like my kids could give two shits about any of that stuff. So it's going to be hard to get them into this. But not to talk too much shit, I do love Warwick Davis. I think he's a fantastic actor. He's a great director.
Sure, yeah.
So, dude, any work that he can do, whatever he touches with Ron Howard, I guarantee this is going to be good. It's going to get a lot of reviews. It's going to be fantastic. Just not my cup of tea.
Yep. Let's move on. Are you familiar with the Image comic Paper Girls?
Not even a little bit.
I fucking love Paper Girls, and I'm so happy that my Paper Girls #1 is shooting up in value because of this announcement. Now,
you were just telling me about that too.
Here's what I want you to picture. Paper Girls preceded Stranger Things by 1 year. Okay, Paper Girls debuted issue 1 in 2015. Stranger Things came out in 2016. I say this because a lot of people are going to be like, when the show comes out, they're going to be like, oh, this is just Amazon's ripoff of Stranger Things. That is incorrect. I'm putting it out there right now. Paper Girls is a story. Paper Girls is a story about 4 girls, roughly the same age as the kids in Stranger Things, about 4 best friends in the 80s who discovered this alien invasion of their town.
Oh.
Sound familiar? Now, there's not a whole thing like, 11 and telekinesis and the upside down world or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. But it is a show that is very, very similar in tone. Because when I first read Paper Girls, when I first saw Stranger Things, I thought the two had a very, very, very similar tone. You have the 4 kids, they're like 12 years old or whatever, foul mouth, they're likable.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they're riding around on their bikes with the boomboxes and stuff like that. And then you have like this supernatural thing happening in their town. So Amazon is apparently doing a Paper Girls series, and they posted on their Instagram. Brian K. Vaughan posted it, actually. He's the author of the series. On his Instagram, that they are opening up a casting call. Filming begins March 2021. So, as someone who's not familiar... Huh?
Are you going to put on a wig and go?
Yeah, I'm going to... Let me see here. I am going to audition for the part of Erin Tiang, a 12-year-old Chinese-American female, because I can pull that off, and I also speak Mandarin. So,
and for the record, you do look like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a reason we do hang out. So
yeah. So that's what I'll be doing.
With my kids, it's fine.
Yeah, there you go. So March 2021, we're probably not going to have as many episodes because I'll be in LA, I assume. Auditioning.
Guys, no, he's going to be filming
for the role of Erin Tiang.
Live from set.
There you go, live, like a live video cast or whatever from set. So, but yeah, anyways, that's happening. From what you've heard of it, just from what I've described, is this something you think you'd be interested in?
Dude, this is something that I would love to see, and I want to show my girls this. And for me, I love Stranger Things. Me and my wife love Stranger Things. It's something that we both binge watched. But it's hard for me to get my girls into Stranger Things when everything is revolving around boys. And it's just...
Right. This would be the perfect sort of thing, yeah.
Absolutely. And I am excited for it. Amazon, when you were speaking, Amazon has a lot going on, and I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen, because they had their whole their Lord of the Rings series that's supposed to be coming out that don't know anything about. That's supposed to be the most expensive show ever filmed. We're going to have their they've done the Tick series where they gave it 2 seasons, and I absolutely loved it. John-Claude Van Johnson,
in High Castle.
Right, The Man in a High Castle, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, all these shows,
Hunters,
Amazon,
The Boys.
Yeah, dude, right.
Borat.
And they're very... Exactly. Oh, Borat, we gotta talk about that. But they're very under the radar with what they're doing, so I think that they're going to be fine. I'm kind of excited for this. This is something that, depending on the rating and when it comes out, that I will watch with my kids, because I think that it's easier to relate to this stuff for girls than it would be for them with Stranger Things.
Yep, and my only disappointment with this is I know. I'm willing to bet both my nuts on this right now. I know the moment the first trailer comes out for Paper Girls, everyone's going to be like, oh, they just ripped off Stranger Things.
Oh, 100%.
I know that's going to happen.
100%.
So
dude, 100%.
That already pisses me off, and it hasn't happened yet.
And it hasn't happened yet. That's funny.
But it's gonna.
Dude, it's going to happen. People have a problem with everything, and we'll get to this when we talk about Ghostbusters. But, I mean, the best thing I can give you is just my kids love the Ghostbusters with the girls. They absolutely do. They could.
So does my son. That's his favorite version.
Yeah.
He's seen all the Ghostbusters, and that one's his favorite.
Dude, we just did Ghostbusters 1 over at their friend's house a couple nights ago, and the kids liked it, but they liked the one with the girls better. And my kids can say, oh, I'm that girl, or I'm this one or that one. And it's really cool to be able to see my kids be able to do that. And
that's funny, because my son goes, oh, I'm Rowan.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, but like, I mean, Kevin Smith said it best. People shit on this kind of stuff. Oh, you know, they're ripping this off, or they're putting girls instead of boys, and blah blah blah. But it really does make a difference when you know your children can relate to that. So for me, this is something I'm all about, because this is something I feel my daughters can relate to.
Yeah.
I can watch with them, and it's cool being a girl dad. So, dude, I'm stoked knowing nothing about it, but what from you have told me, I want to see it. I do. I want to know what they're going to do. And, dude, this is cool. This is something that I didn't know I wanted or needed.
I need to find a digital copy of the Paper Girls, at least the first story arc, like the first 10 issues, because I have them in book form. But I need to find a digital version so I can send it over to you and you can read it. It's tremendous. I mean, if you thought the boys on Stranger Things were foul-mouthed, I mean, just wait till you see these girls, and one of them fucking smokes.
That's amazing.
So
that's absolutely
I'm
amazing.
Very excited.
That's so cool. I mean, I can't wait to see it, dude. I love this kind of stuff, and I feel like, just like we were talking about the other day with the Invincible Man, right?
Invincible, just
Invincible, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Amazon.
A lot of Image comics now coming into their own TV shows.
Absolutely, and Amazon is the place where you can do that stuff. That's where you can do it at. Netflix is where you can do it at, and you see that because you're able to do these story arcs, and you don't have your hands tied by the fucking FCC and all that kind of bullshit. So you can have an Invisible Man be exploded from inside of his asshole while he's inside of a cage on Amazon, but you're not going to have that on Fox.
Oh man. Oh, you gotta finish binging The Boys, because the second season's over. You can binge it all now.
I have two episodes left of the first season, then I got the second season coming up.
All right, because the first season you have those moments where you're like, oh my god, like when his girlfriend explodes in the pilot.
Oh my god, because
so
fucking A-Train just ran through him. I was like, holy shit.
Dude, the moments that are like that in the second season make that look tame.
Well, did you ever see Jean-Claude Van Johnson?
Not yet. I put it on my list, but not yet. No.
But you saw the clip.
I watched the clip you sent me.
Dude, how fucking hilarious is that?
Dude, yeah.
And that right there, that's just the first couple minutes of it, dude. So again, Amazon, I have the utmost faith in Amazon. I hate Jeff Bezos because that motherfucker made all this money while the rest of us are struggling during a pandemic. But hey, he's living the American dream, dude. He started from selling books in a fucking dorm room in college, and now he's the world's richest man.
I still remember when I was first able to order a CD off of Amazon. I was like a freshman in college. It blew my mind.
I'm gonna say this, and this is the only time we're gonna do any of this stuff on this podcast where I get political or anything. But it's just funny that somebody lives the American dream and starts off with absolutely nothing, and now everybody hates him because they're the biggest, richest person in the world. That's the American dream.
That's just how it works.
You're supposed to start with nothing and get something. And it's just funny that now where we are is that, it's okay to have a dream and start, but once you get too big, you're a fucking traitor and a loser, and we don't like you anymore. So I just find that to be funny. I just think that, the owners of Walmart have trillions of dollars and
have what we don't have. I mean,
right. It's just it's just funny. Yeah, the man had the money. He knew what he had to do, and he started and did it. And everybody wants to hate on Jeff Bezos, but dude, I can have anything shipped to my house in 2 days for $4 less, and I can get it at Target. Sorry, Target. Yep. I'm going to Amazon. I don't give a fuck how much money Bezos has.
That's because, and here I'm going to get a little political now. That's because we all have our own versions of what other people should be doing with their wealth. It's as simple as that. You see someone who's wealthy, and we don't know what they do with their wealth, but we know they're living comfortably. And we all sit back in our little armchairs and we judge, and we go, well, I don't see him starting any charities.
Yep.
You know, and we do shit like that.
Right. And who gives? Yeah. Oh, he's been divorced and he's still the world's richest person. Good for him. He probably worked his ass off in college selling books. Yeah, this is what happens. There's a reason he went from selling books out of a dorm room to financing the most expensive television show ever made.
Yeah.
The American dream, bitches. That's why. And it was just my thing about Jeff Bezos. And if it wasn't for him and Amazon, I wouldn't be getting my Xbox and my PlayStation. So y'all can eat a dick.
If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be sitting here today going, oh shit, my Brita water filter is up on its 3 months. I better get some more. And here it came today.
And we're just going to go off just a little sidetrack here. If it wasn't for that, we would not have Borat 2, which we had last night. And since it's fresh, I want to get your opinion on what you thought about it. We've texted a little bit, and it's not on our notes, but I want to just drop a little bit of instant reaction to Borat 2.
before our next thing. So here's my thing about Borat 2. Going into it, having not seen any trailers or anything, I already knew it was going to lose some of its magic because now everyone knows who Borat is. And they addressed it in the movie. He's like, oh, I got to wear a disguise now and stuff like that. But the entire concept of the first Borat, it doesn't translate into a sequel because we've seen it. It's not a fresh concept anymore. With that being said, how fucking timely was that movie?
Dude, it was way more political than I expected it to be, unlike the first one. But you're right, it was extremely timely, and I was worried about, oh my God, are we going to see the exact same thing we saw before? And we didn't. It was so different and so timely. There was stuff that was in there that was relevant from months ago. Like, I mean, it was everything from COVID to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, there was a Pence rally that was from like February.
Yeah, 2020, when we only had 15 cases of corona and we're going to be down to 0. It's like, and dude,
it was creepy as fuck watching that scene. Watching Mike Pence stand up there and go, we only have 15 confirmed cases. Don't be tripping. We'll be fine. And here we are today with the most cases ever yesterday.
Well, I mean, honestly, though, we both know that if we weren't testing people, we wouldn't have cases and this wouldn't exist. And come November 4th, after the election, COVID's going to disappear.
Yep, just disappear into thin air.
And if you guys can pick up on my sarcasm, this clearly isn't the podcast for you.
Yeah. /S.
Yeah, but dude, no, that's it's interesting.
That animation, though, we were just talking about dude, the Trump Melania Disney animation. Oh my God. Dude, I need a full movie of that.
So do I. The fertility dance that they did at the debutante ball, man. Dude. Oh my God, the part where he was like, oh, how much is my daughter? And the guy's like, $500. And he turns and that dude's daughter was like, you're fucking disgusting. I was like, oh my God.
Yup.
Oh my God.
Speaking of that scene, it tripped me out that they're still having debutante balls in the South.
Yes. Oh, it was
what the fuck is that?
It was so creepy and uncomfortable and oh, dude, it was very cringeworthy. Everybody knows about the Giuliani scene that was in there. I'm gonna say it. It was not as bad as it had been hyped up to be. It was uncomfortable, and clearly in my mind, if Borat wouldn't have busted in and done what happened, Giuliani looked like he was trying to kind of get into a situation with this girl. Like there was no reason.
Dude, I mean. Yeah, don't you go for news interviews and then move it on to the bedroom? Isn't that just something people do?
Right, or like he couldn't have taken his own microphone out like while she was going through and pulling out the microphone. But the part that the whole thing that really scares me about this whole movie, and I think this is something that people are not gonna like look too much into, but how easy it is for nobody, just a random fucking person, to get intimate access to our most quote-unquote highest level security people in this country. Like she literally a week before had this dark hair and was like doing this whole Borat movie, and within 7 days she had managed to be one-on-one with Rudy Giuliani by herself in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what scares me. And then Borat had released a couple other images too of her like going into the White House and no masks, no temperature checks, and that's the stuff that really creeped me out about that is how easy Borat had access to do that.
Yeah.
It was creepy.
That movie had one of the biggest twists I've ever seen since The Sixth Sense.
It did, man. You said it best. The overarching story of it isn't the best, but the way they've done it and ended it and everything, dude, it's classic, dude. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. It was when they did the twist, I was laughing. Right. It was like a really uncomfortable, sad laughter.
It was, dude, because you go back and you start watching it and you're like, oh my God. Dude, there's a part that they didn't have in this movie, but I'll tell you two things. So remember when he was doing with the Holocaust women?
Yeah.
So the lady that hugged him, she told this Holocaust survival story. And Sacha Baron Cohen, the report is he broke character and told these two people who he was before he filmed the scene. Because these were two elderly Jewish women, and he did not want to offend them because he's Jewish himself.
Well, I was going to say, isn't he Jewish?
Yeah, so the lady Judith that he was talking to told him this Holocaust story, and it moved him so much that he did not put it in the movie, and he took her story and made a whole nother movie based off of her story that he's going to release for free, and it's her Holocaust survival story. And he dedicated Borat 2 to her and to her family because her story just touched him in a way where he's like, this is what this is about. Like, you know, you don't understand, but when you people say George Soros in the media, this is anti-Jewish stuff. And he was saying that, and just the way it affected this woman. And like, when knowing that story before I saw the movie, when he was talking with her, when he gave her a hug and she, like, you know, gave him a hug, and that real emotion that was there between the two of them, man, it was moving. Like, I did not expect to be touched like that during a Borat movie, which is really weird.
Right.
But dude, that stuff is crazy. And then the part where he was singing his song, apparently he did it. He was at a cage fight filming for this movie in some
I thought I heard about
somewhere.
that. I was expecting to see that.
So I guess it's going to be somewhere else that he's going to release it out, but he was in there singing a song, and these people attacked him, and he had to run out, and he said he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and everybody had AR-15s, and they opened this car door and were trying to rip him out of the car, and he had to start kicking them and drive off because of how aggressive and angry these people got. And, dude, he is a master. He's a... Yeah, exactly, dude. But, dude, whoever the girl was that played his daughter was fantastic. Oh,
she was
my
absolutely
God, she was
amazing.
good.
I've never heard of her prior to this, but she did a tremendous job.
She did, and I think that Sacha Baron Cohen found the right person to carry on the Borat name if they're going to do more. Like, she had no fear. She went in 100% and just did her part perfectly, man. It was so good.
Yep.
And you're right, dude. Him in that Trump mask with that woman, oh, that was so uncomfortable.
Dude. That Trump mask was creepy, too. I mean, wow.
He broke character there, too. Did you hear him in the movie when he broke character?
No, when?
So when he was holding the woman, when he was holding her and dressed as Trump, you can hear him. He turns to this lady, and he's in his normal English accent. And he's like, ma'am, stop punching me. Please stop physically hitting me, ma'am. Stop punching me.
Oh,
but
no, I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's just right. And if you're not listening close, you don't hear it because he doesn't have his Borat voice. He's in an English accent. He's in his normal Sacha Baron Cohen voice. And it just stood out to me. And I was like, holy shit, these people are fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Dude, anyways, watch Borat 2. It's another perfect example.
It's on Prime. If you have Prime, it's free. I mean, other than the cost of Prime.
Political views aside, Jeff Bezos released this movie on Amazon when they did for a reason. And let's just say...
show.
Yeah, so watch the movie. It's good, man. I'm glad we both got to watch it and enjoy it, man. It was what we needed. So, awesome. Sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack there, but yeah.
No. We were going to talk about it anyway, so might as well, right?
Good.
So let's move on. We were just talking last episode about how Ghostbusters Afterlife was radio silent. It was supposed to come out this summer.
Me sad.
Me too. My son is really sad too because he's a huge Ghostbusters mark. But we just received word that Ghostbusters Afterlife got delayed to summer 2021. There you go. I was super looking forward to it.
And I'm okay with this, and I will tell you why. Number one, Ghostbusters Afterlife and what I've seen from this trailer and what this movie means to Reitman and to Aykroyd and to all of them, it needs to be seen in theaters.
Yeah.
It just does. I'm excited for this. I'm heartbroken that this is happening. This isn't a movie that I think that wouldn't get the respect it deserves on streaming. Bill and Ted 3, perfect for streaming. Trolls World Tour, perfect for streaming. This movie, though, is the kind of movie where you want to take your kids and you want to go sit in a theater surrounded by a bunch of other people, and you want to have or they're laughing at the inside jokes of the Force Bowls and Munguses, or back off, man, I'm a scientist. Like all that stuff, you want to be able to laugh with your kids. So I'm cool with this. I don't think that that's actually going to happen, though. In reality, I think that this will be streaming come March of next year because I don't think it'll be back in theaters. But I'm excited.
Theaters are apparently already opening up in our county.
June. So, no, they are. Dude, I'm all for it. Again, I am of the mind that if you are in a situation
I'm not going to go, but yeah.
Right, all right. I'm not going to go, but nobody else should have to not be able to go because I'm not going to go. So if people are going to do it and we're going to rebuild this economy and we're going to have movies back and we're going to get this stuff, we're going to have to. I can't do it. I wish that I could. You can't do it. We're not going to. But, dude, put it out there. Let's just see what happens because we're going to have to – we need to get back to some kind of normalcy. And I want to see this movie. I want to take my kids to see this movie.
God, same,
I would love.
same.
I want Paul Rudd. I mean, Finn Wolfhard. You know, all of us bring you.
And whoever
the kids
that little
and go.
girl is that looks just fucking like Egon.
Oh, dude, it's She does look like Spangler. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And also too, this is the Ghostbusters that people have been waiting for. Not a reboot, not a recast, not a rehash. It is a true to life sequel to Ghostbusters. Right, that's launching a new brand of Ghostbusters. And dude, again, everybody out there, tell your friends, me and Tony have predicted almost everything correctly on this podcast from day one.
Is true.
And we have texted each other. It's been very scary, but you can go back and listen. We're pretty good at this shit.
Yep, we're professionals.
That made me laugh.
So let's move on. We got... we were talking about this just 2 or 3 episodes ago. The Uncharted movie. It was kind of in limbo for a while, and then Tom Holland got attached to it with Mark Wahlberg, and kind of radio silent for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we get our first look at Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. Now, I think he looks great.
Yes.
I really, 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 really don't want to see a young Nathan Drake, though. I just don't. I want to see the Nathan Drake that we have on screen, or from the games. I want to see the grown-up Nathan Drake. I don't want to see Uncharted Year 1. Now, I understand why they're doing it, because the 4 Uncharted games, and I guess Lost Legacy, if you want to count that, they're so cinematic, they may as well be long movies in their own right. So, I know movie studios don't like to just rehash the plots of whatever they're basing their stories off of. So, okay, fine, I get it. You're going to do an Uncharted Year 1, which is basically what this is. With that being said, I think Tom Holland looks really good as a really young Nathan Drake. You can never fucking convince me, though, that Mark Wahlberg will be a passable Sully.
Yeah. Dude, I
just don't buy it.
No. The casting of Mark Wahlberg, personally, I think is stupid. I can't stand Mark Wahlberg. I liked Mark Wahlberg back in the day, but dude, fuck him, dude. I don't understand how we're still casting Mark Wahlberg and standing behind it after he kidnapped and beat people. Again, we're just giving shitty people opportunities.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
Amber Heard,
name me
for instance.
Oh God, again, just me. Give me a movie that's not Mark Wahlberg all jacked up on testosterone shooting a bunch of people. That's actually a good movie that Mark Wahlberg's on, where you're like, man, that's a good Mark Wahlberg movie. Pain and Gain? Invincible, maybe?
Pain and Gain was fantastic. That was Michael Bay's easily his best movie. I really liked that movie.
But it was the chemistry with him and The Rock, and it was able to see that Rock in that. And that right there is just a meathead Mark Wahlberg kind of movie. I don't think Mark Wahlberg is a good actor. I don't. Sorry. I mean, he has his moments. He has a few good roles, but I've never oh man, Mark Wahlberg's in this movie. I got to go see this. Also, knowing that Entourage is based off of Mark Wahlberg's life just makes Mark Wahlberg even more of a douche to me.
I didn't even know that, but that's funny.
Yeah.
I buy Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake more than I buy him as Sully.
Yeah, it seems like they fucking dropped the ball with getting Nathan Fillion and fucking Bruce Campbell in here. Is what I think, personally.
Bruce Campbell or fucking Robert De Niro as Sully?
Oh, man, that would be good.
But Robert De Niro would not touch this movie with a 10-foot pole, I don't think.
No. Well, see, now, here's what I was trying to talk about earlier when I was like, I'm going to save this for the podcast. Now, Tom Holland as Drake, I get that. That's cool. My problem is, are we going to see Tom Holland as Peter Parker cosplaying as Nathan Drake, or are we going to see Tom Holland as Nathan Drake? And the
because we're used to him as Peter.
Right, and it's not just because we're used to seeing him as Peter, but that seems like that's him. Same with Chris Evans. I loved him in Knives Out, but as far as I'm concerned, he's just a cocky Captain America sitting there. Great fucking actor, but when I saw Chris Evans in Snowpiercer, he was not Captain America.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious what we're going to get with Tom Holland, because Tom Holland's biggest starring roles have been Spider-Man. This is out of his comfort zone. He also has to try to act alongside cardboard cutout Boston asshole Mark Wahlberg, who doesn't really draw the best out of his talent.
Yeah.
And then
and my question is, what about the rest of the supporting cast? Is there going to be Elena?
Right.
Is there gonna be a what's her name? The dark haired lady from the second game.
She
the
was
British
in
chick.
second and third game. Yeah, I'm going back and playing Drake's Deception right now, and I can't remember what the fuck her name is.
So anyway, Chloe, that was her name.
Yeah. But
Is there
are they
going to be
gonna do
Chloe?
this?
I mean, are we going to have any of these characters that we've loved throughout 4 games?
And then are we going to see the exact same fucking thing that we've seen with National Treasure 2,
Yes.
Tomb Raider Cradle of Life, Alicia Vikander as the Tomb Raider, or Prince of Persia Sands of Time. It's all the same shit. Now, while I'm excited...
Speaking of the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider, that was surprisingly good and surprisingly true to the first game.
See, never saw it just because it never piqued my interest. And to me, I'm just like...
If you enjoyed the first Tomb Raider game and the plot of it, you should watch it because it is they stayed shockingly true to the game.
So, I mean, Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1 or Tomb Raider, the re-release?
The reboot.
Okay. See, I like that,
it's
but...
definitely... It's leaps and bounds better than any of the Angelina Jolie ones. It was actually a decent Tomb Raider movie. I enjoyed it.
Well, see, for me, it's like if I want to see that, I'll just go play the game because that's why I'm replaying them now, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like we were just doing it when we were talking today with the performance mode and everything else on Tomb Raider, just how well it looks. So it's like, it's hard for me to get excited as much as I want to about this for a movie based off a video game that's a playable movie, anyways.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, like, I'm going to like it, but I know these stories already, and then I'm worried that they're going to put out a movie and try to rush it out because, hey, we have Tom Holland, who's Spider-Man, so you're going to bring in all the Spider-Man fans, and we've got Mark Wahlberg and nobody else, and instead of, they're going to give us this shit movie when they could have put that into an Uncharted 5 video game that I would have much rather spent hours into playing, and you would have saved yourself all the money in a flop. But
which I'm sure is coming.
Right, and I'm hoping so. And I'm not against it, but it's hard for me to get excited about it because when you get these actors like this, Robert Pattinson to me is still going to be from Twilight, even though he's done other stuff. That's just how I'm going to know him. And Tom Holland is going to be Spider-Man, not Nathan Drake. So that's where it's hard for me. I would much rather have an unknown actor or a younger up-and-coming who hasn't had these big Spider-Man roles to do this. But again... I don't know. I mean, Tom Holland's a cool actor. It should be good, but I mean, again, is this going to be Spider-Man in khakis and a long sleeve shirt, or is this going to be an actual Uncharted Nathan Drake movie?
We'll have to find out. Let's move on to a little bit of gaming and tech news. Apple TV Plus will be coming as an app to PS5, and I believe it was also confirmed for Xbox. I just don't have the source to confirm that it was for Xbox, but it would seem silly not to. So I never thought I would live to see the day where Apple will release their apps on other platforms. That's just not them. You'll never see iMessage on Android,
Nope.
Yeah, so, but it kind of sort of though makes sense because I can download iTunes on my, on my PC, so they've clearly done stuff like that, Well, but yeah, Apple TV Plus is coming to PS5. The reason why I'm excited about this is because I bought the Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi one, on iTunes in 4K. Now, that sale was just through iTunes, so I don't get it on my Android TV. I can't watch those movies on my Nvidia Shield. Now, what's great about this is if I can just have an Apple TV Plus app on my fucking Series X, then I can watch those Spider-Man movies in 4K on my big TV.
Dude, you literally took everything that I was going to say out of my mouth. Like, I mean, in all reality, that's the exact same problem that I have. I was just talking about this last night with my neighbor. You can have movies anywhere, which is great, but it doesn't help me with all of my Apple movies in my library. And then I have an iPhone, but you can't Chromecast your Apple movies anywhere, and Movies Anywhere won't do the proprietary Apple movies like the 4K Spider-Mans and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you're stuck in this fucking shit situation, which sucks. So I'm glad that Apple's doing this because I have a Roku TV like that I use for bedroom TV watching stuff on, and Apple TV Plus is on there, and that right there for me is the game changer because I can watch all of my movies and all of my TV shows are right in there and everything is in there. So this I think is going to be cool for Apple fans because this is something that. Oh man, I gotta get an Apple TV. No, you can get a PS5, at least we know now, and have your 4K HDMI Blu-ray player and have Apple TV.
And I have an Apple TV. I just don't have an Apple TV 4K, so it's in my bedroom on my 1080p TV, which is fine.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not going to be able to watch the Spider-Man trilogy on my big TV, which is 4K, unless I have some way to, get my Apple library on there. And now I will.
And dude, Apple, I think we're going to see this. Like, Apple makes good hardware. I have the Apple TV 4K, but I got it on sale. And it's great fucking hardware, and it works. And Apple just works. And I've told you this before. I've been an Android guy my entire life. This is only I got the iPhone 12. I just got the iPhone 12, and we were just talking about this. This is my second ever iPhone that I've ever had. But iPhone, once they get you in, you're sucked into Apple. That's just it. I got the watch now. I've got the Apple TV. I've got all that kind of stuff, and it's just the handshake.
Because they're so good at building an ecosystem. I mean, you can shit on Apple all you want for making everything proprietary, and I still don't like that. But they build the way they build an ecosystem, you can't beat it because I'm just like you. I was Android up until the iPhone 10 when I finally said, fuck this, I'm getting the iPhone. And now I can have iMessage on my phone, on my tablet, or on my iMac. I can fucking text anybody from those. I mean, I remember being on Android and I wanted to be able to text through my PC. I had to download an app and root my Android just to be able to do that.
Yep, and so, I loved having free movies. So I was like, I'm never going to get an Apple. They don't let you do these apps, so I would download all these side apps to do this, and then my phone would run like shit anyways. And I'm like, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
Dude, so I think this is cool. This could be a big game changer because also there's a lot of people who don't watch Apple TV Plus. Mythic Quest is a great fucking show. With Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Have you ever watched it?
No, I actually don't subscribe to TV Plus, so I don't get any of their original shows. But I'm excited.
I only got it free
in my library.
Yes. Well, I got the Apple Plus stuff for free when I bought my iPhone, so you get like the year for free. But like the Mythic Quest show was great, but nobody's gonna fucking watch that because no one wants to spend $150 on a streaming device. So you're gonna go out and get a Chromecast for $70. So I think this right here is gonna bridge that gap for Apple, so they'll actually do more with their Apple stuff, and that's huge. Like you said, to be able to have this app they're gonna put out on a PlayStation. I mean, it's cool. It works on my Roku. I haven't had a single issue with it, so this is dope, dude. I like it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So like I said, I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to having my full library available on my big TV. So. Let's move on to Xbox Remote Play. It finally got released for iOS devices. It was available on Android for a while, but we finally get to have it because we have iPads and iPhones, and we were able to test it out. What do you think? Now, before we continue, this is not xCloud. xCloud will be games streaming from Microsoft servers. This is simply remote playing from your existing Xbox, so this is a totally different thing. But what were your thoughts screwing around with it?
Dude. I liked it, man. It's cool. Again, I'm only using it in my house, so everything's still connected to the same Wi-Fi and everything. But I was able to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on my iPad with my Elite 2 controller with no lag, no button issues, nothing. It was seamless. It works.
It was surprising how little lag there was for the controller. I mean, the Tony Hawk, that's exactly the game I tested too, Tony Hawk, and that's the type of game you can't have any lag because everything, all the button combos and everything, they need to happen right there. And I was pleasantly shocked at how well it translated over. I was using a DualShock 4. How about that? Using a DualShock 4 on an iPad playing my Xbox.
That's pretty fucking badass. Dude, I mean, I think that it's a cool thing. I like that Xbox is doing this. Like you said, it's not the xCloud, so it's nothing different. You'll just be able to play stuff off of your Xbox at home. For me, I travel for work, and I'm going to have to start traveling again regardless of, whatever. So, 99% of my time, I'm going to be sitting in a hotel room in a mask, just kind of staying away from everybody. So now when I'm on the road, as long as I have, 12, 25, what was the megabytes? Whatever the megabytes required, I'll have it wherever I'm at in my hotels or whatever. So I can, and I can still play my Xbox when I'm on the road.
Yeah,
it's great.
So I liked it. Cool. I haven't really run into any glitches or anything like that. I mean, but then again, I'm dealing with when it works, when Comcast lets it work, I'm dealing with a pretty good speed over here. So we'll have to see, like, whenever we start working back in the office or something, we'll have to try it out there. on the shitty Wi-Fi
Well,
they have at work.
I will let you know next week because I have to travel next week for the first time, and I'm terrified of it. And I'll be on the road with my iPad, and I will be using it when I'm out. So I'll let you know how it works.
Well, there you go. Where are you traveling to?
I gotta go to Washington.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You told me about that. Yeah.
Which, it's always great to fly into Seattle on the 29th and 30th, 4 days before the election. So I'm looking forward to it.
Fun times. Will you be back for Halloween with your family?
Yeah, I'm just going out there Thursday, and I come back Friday. I think I land at like 9 o'clock Friday night, so I'll be here Saturday. Okay. So it's a quick one-day trip. Nothing to worry about. It'll be fine. I just have to get in my own head about it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to NBA 2K21. Now, this game, and we're talking about the next-gen version, it's already $10 more. It's a $70 game, and I have nothing against developers wanting to charge $10 more. I get it. Games are very, very expensive to develop. They should have been $70 a long time ago, in my opinion.
They don't make money off of the games.
2K21, huh?
They don't make next to nothing off the games.
Yeah, exactly. But NBA 2K21 is already a $70 game, and they have unskippable advertisements when you're loading into a game. And people were flipping their shit about that. And, you know, I kind of understand. No one wants to have unskippable ads when you're playing a game that's already more expensive. But 2K did eventually come out and say, you know, let me read the tweet that 2K put out. They tweeted, "As many are aware, in recent years, ads have been integrated into 2K TV segments. Yesterday's 2K TV ad placement impacted our players' experience in a way we didn't intend, as these ads are not meant to run as part of the pre-game introduction. This will be fixed in future updates. Thank you for your continued feedback." So, looks like they're going back on that. It appears they're, you know, probably via a patch going to be taking out those unskippable ads. But come on, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, dude, they did.
They were testing the waters.
Absolutely, 100%. You know that they're going to do this.
Yeah. So,
dude, I don't know, man. I think that EA already got in trouble with this, with their loot boxes and everything else. And you're seeing the fact that once somebody spends money on a game, the biggest problem I have is having to spend more. If I'm spending $70 on NBA 2K1, I shouldn't have to sit through ads. If I'm spending $9 a month to stream Hulu, I shouldn't have a fucking commercial every 6 minutes. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. But I'm glad that fans are speaking out and letting know, like, we don't like this, so they can try to, we're going to try to figure this out. To me, it's bullshit. They're trying to get more money out of people, and I don't like it. And also, I don't like the fact that they're going to charge $10 more for a next-gen game. I just don't. I think that's kind of another way to rip off money. So you either need to raise the price all the way across the board and don't make it as a next-gen game. Because if you're going to do that, then you need to start selling all the previous-gen games for $10 less. I mean, that's just how I look at this.
The thing about this is I don't like that they're doing it with an annual sports game. If you're going to charge $70 for Uncharted 5, fine. You know, I get that. But if you're going to charge something for a game that is essentially a glorified roster update, like a Madden or 2K, that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Of all the games that are launch day games for this next gen that's coming out in a couple of weeks, of all the games to charge $70 for, I feel like 2K should have been like the last one.
Oh, absolutely. Like Cyberpunk should have been $70 because you get
Assassin's
the free
Creed
upgrade.
Valhalla, any of those games.
Right. But I think this is just a way for 2K1 to try to get more money out of people for 2K.
Of course.
Which it seems like they've been trying to do. I mean, 2K, they fucked up the WWE games, like, terribly. Like, to the point they had to fucking cancel them. Like, how do you fuck that up? Like, they're just... I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they're still trying to figure it out. I don't know, man. Again, I don't really play a lot of sports games, and I think that, like you said, a glorified roster for $70 a year, fuck out of here.
Yeah, agreed. But let's cleanse our palates with a happier and more amusing story to wrap up this episode.
Are we about to have a happy ending?
We are allowed to have a happy ending, and we're gonna have one. Ooh. That sounds really bad, but you know what I mean. A new trailer for Miles Morales' Spider-Man was released this past week, where it turns out there's a mission where you rescue a cat. And it turns out this cat can come with you in its own Spider Kitty mask and actually do attacks with you. You can have a fucking attack kitty.
Isn't that fucking amazing?
that's worth the $70 on its own for the Ultimate Edition.
Dude, when I saw the trailer where Miles goes in there and the cat comes out, the cat's got the eyes and is looking at him, I was like, oh, you won Game of the Year!
Yep, and the cat attacks and it's like, meow.
Yeah. Dude. I am... the next generation of games is exciting. We all know this. This, to me, Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out, I think is what's gonna set the tone for the next generation. And I mean this because, A, Xbox is releasing a ton of fucking games on Game Pass, which is great, but they're all games that we have played and that we know.
Correct.
Excuse me. There's a few originals coming out that you and me have talked about. We're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be cool. But there's nothing that stands out. Miles Morales stands out as its own thing, something
you
brand
keep talking. I gotta get something that was just dropped off at my door.
Go for it. So it seems like it's something that's brand new. It's a new story. It's a new type of arc. It's a new gameplay. It's new visuals. It's something that's familiar, but we haven't seen yet. And I think that this right here, if this comes out and this game hits and the Spider-Man looks good and the ray tracing is there and the visuals and everything is there and this story hits as well as Spider-Man did, PlayStation will win the next generation of consoles based off of this alone. Because there is so much behind this, so many people, and it's not just the game, it's the character Miles Morales that so many people who felt they didn't have representation in video games and comic books now have. You know, you have just so many things that are there that so many people are like, yeah, cool, man. You guys want to play Halo again, or do you guys want to check out Miles Morales? And that's just where I think that PlayStation is putting a lot of their next gen games and what they're going to do on Spider-Man Morales, which is why we're seeing the fucking attack kitty. Every single person is excited about an attack cat. It's a cat in a video game, and we're all flipping shit about it.
Yep. And it's the most absurd thing, but yet it was the thing I needed in my life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's so cool to see that. And I, for one, can't wait to get my hands on this game. I'm jealous every time I go on Twitter and I see people who already got their PS5s. I hate you. All of you. I hate you so much. Just kidding. I love you and I respect you. But I still hate you. But dude, I just can't wait to get my hands on this thing and to play it and to see what we're getting here. Yeah. And you know, to turn it on and see how the Spider-Man looks and see if we're really going to be blown away or where we're at. And Xbox has released a lot so far. We've seen a lot. We've seen some stuff from PlayStation, but what we haven't seen is next-gen titles. First day launch.
And we're not going to see true next-gen for a year or two. I mean,
no.
It's all we're getting, even games like Miles Morales that were made specifically for PS5, even games like that, we're in the earlier. I mean, developers haven't even unlocked a fraction of the potential yet, you know?
Oh, dude, absolutely, which is why I think that when this comes out, like we just said, we're not even tapping the potential. This is just day one with this game. So when you see Miles Morales and when you're blown away, I think that's what's going to set the thing apart. Because, don't get me wrong, I love the Xbox. I think I'm a little bit more excited now for the Xbox than I am for the PlayStation, only because when I plug in my Xbox, I'm going to see how this thing works across hundreds of different games from day one.
Yeah.
But for me, I already planned it out. When I get my PlayStation, Miles Morales is going in. I got Borderlands 3 for $8 out of Best Buy the other day. So I got that one because you get the free upgrade for it. And I just pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077 because it was on sale for $49. So, perfect. And all on PlayStation. Because, and this is, again, just me, I'm going to play more Xbox because there's more games, but I'm going to put more time into my PlayStation.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I'm fine with that because I'm going to want to go through. I don't have many games that I want to replay on my Xbox, but I'm going through right now and I'm replaying all my Uncharted games. Just because I like the way it looks. And man, I don't know. I'm rambling off on shit here, but dude, Spider Kitty, Spider Cat, Spider-Man Cat's dope. I can't wait for this.
Do you know what was just delivered?
What?
My Back to the Future 4K box set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have that hover. I'm taking it to work and I'm putting it on my desk. And if anyone fucking touches it like they have my lightsaber, there's going to be hell to pay. Someone was playing with my lightsaber at work. I know this. No one will tell me who, though.
That's fucked up. I went to a brewery when I was flying out of Colorado one time, and the owner of the bar had the original props from the Back to the Future movie. So he had the pictures that Marty had where his family was disappearing on the wall. He had the flyer from the Under the Sea Enchantment Dance. He had an original prop hoverboard used that was up in a glass display case, and he had one of the flux capacitors taken out of a DeLorean hanging on the wall. And
how did he get all that?
Just from collecting shit throughout the years and knowing the right people and everything else. And I got some cool pictures of them, and I'll send them to you, man. But
definitely, it's
crazy. But I bought the Back to the Future trilogy like 6-7 months ago when it was like $11 on iTunes, and they're not in 4K. So I'm not fucking rebuying them.
I really had to think about rebuying these because I already have them on Blu-ray, and I'm like, I'm perfectly happy with them on Blu-ray because these are 80s movies. 4K is only going to do so much.
Right.
But that hoverboard, I kind of needed that.
Yeah, that hoverboard is kind of the nice part,
So, well, I think that wraps it up, man. Dude. I managed not to let my asthma destroy the episode, I think, so that's a good sign.
Dude, this has been a good episode, man. It's always good to chat with you, buddy.
For sure, man, for sure. And you can follow me on Twitter at ToneZone81. Josh?
Oh, guys, guess what? I'm not going to forget my Twitter handle this time because I realized that I can change it. And after years of deciding, I finally came up with it. You guys can get me at Bruce Bane 66. My two favorite characters, Bruce Wayne and Bane.
Bruce Bane 66. Isn't that your family sharing Apple name or whatever?
That's also my Apple name, which is fantastic.
Nice.
So, yeah, I have it all. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's fantastic.
All right. Well, there you go. There's our Twitters. Please give us a follow. Subscribe to the show if you like it. If you have the time, give us a 5-star review or not. Let us know how we can improve and all that. So, but either way, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.